And what is up with it, everybody? Live from the studios of WYUR at the La Penta Student Union at Iona University. It's Woolley Mammoth Wednesdays. I am your host, Cameron Woolley, bringing you the best and only the best sports on campus. So obviously a run of nice weather. So far, I hope everybody is enjoying their time. I saw a lot of people on Murphy Green when I was walking by here, just hanging out, sitting around in circles, eating lunch. Like me, I hang out with all the gamers I hang out in esports, so we don't really go outside that often. But nonetheless, it's still great to have all this great weather. I did end up spending some time outside last night and yesterday, so I encourage all of you to do the same because around here, it's a rarity, especially during the academic calendar, I guess, to get weather like this. So absolutely, just it's great, and it's boosted my mood. And even with the New York Yankees being the New York Yankees, because like even though they're 7-4 and they're about to be 7-5 because they started Aaron Hicks, Kyle Higashioka, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in the bottom three of their lineup, so they're losing and they're going up against the pitchers making his first big league start. So the Yankees lose those games anyway. So pencil them in for 7-5. Aaron Hicks has already misplayed 2 balls in center, and I guarantee by the time I'm done recording this, he's going to have misplayed 2 more in the game that is currently happening. So. And also, I know there was this whole mix up with the review, and I'm gonna check Twitter to see how many runs Cleveland scored off of this. And it's like I see people stomping and whining about how the umpires would somehow conspire to go against the New York Yankees against the Cleveland Guardians when everyone knows Rob Manfred would absolutely love to see the Yankees succeed. But despite his best efforts, the Yankees have not been able to win a pennant since 2009. So obviously, as you can tell, I am bitter about the Yankees, and I don't care about their record. I don't care if this is the best start that they've had in a while. The Yankees have been everything that I've expected them to be. They've been performing well. They've been winning games. Like, yeah, winning games, looking horrible in the games where they lose, and all of the problems for around, let's say, 900 games. They've been having the same issues with hitting with runners on and the bullpen collapsing in very inconvenient times, and the issue of injuries and the issue of everything that is systemically embedded at this point. Like, the problem's not going to be solved. The Yankees are not going to be solved because if they were trying to solve the problem, they would have solved it years ago. But since they don't care about winning and they only care about money, which they are still very much making, nothing's going to change. The Yankees are putting together a competitive roster. It's going to win some games. It was entertaining. Yesterday's win was very fun to watch, but I'm still sitting there thinking, I'm like, yeah, they're going to win 95 games in the regular season, but then they're going to biff it in October when it really matters. So, and anyways, the Rays have already won the AL East because, I mean, the Yankees are not going to come back, and the Rays are just having one of those years where everything goes right for them, despite having a bunch of injuries. So, yeah, the AL East is over, and for the Yankees, the season honestly ended months ago in the offseason when when they extended Brian Cashman. That was the moment the Yankees season ended. That's the moment the next 4 Yankee seasons have ended. I have absolutely no confidence. This team over the last few years has absolutely killed my ability to believe in them and be able to have optimism and be excited for baseball season because I'm not excited for baseball. Like, sure, it's a pastime. Like, it's something to throw on, and it's entertaining. Like, it's funny to watch the Yankees do this. I mean, like, being a fan of a team in the AL East and watching the Yankees beat the Yankees last few years has got to be one of the most entertaining things as a sports fan. Watching your rival constantly trip over themselves in the playoffs and having the entire nation laugh at them being the laughing stock of baseball, that's amazing. That's amazing, dude. Like, watching the Cowboys in the playoffs, that's been amazing. And I realize that's what every other fan base in the AL East has gone through, and the Red Sox have actually won a couple of championships in that time. So good for them, But Boston, ever since I was born, Boston has absolutely owned the Yankees. Absolutely owned them. We're going to be coming on 20 years of Boston lording over the Yankees. And the only evidence of a time when the Yankees did own Boston is stuff before I was born. So it doesn't really matter. And again, I'm seeing fans on Twitter complain about the ups, me. Again, why would Rob Manfred say, "Yeah, I want the Yankees to lose"? Said no commissioner in the history of professional sports has said, you know what, that team in the big market that would make us a boatload of money. Yeah, we want them to lose because oh yeah, we really want that team from Cleveland to win. Please, please, no, no. Cleveland and the Guardians Twitter admin is doing such a good job trolling because he's saying like, "Oh, the team from Queens." And so it's like, yeah, it's irritating, but that means he's doing his job. So like, I mean, Anthony Volpe. I'm all over the place today. Forgive me, it's been a minute since I've been in here, but Anthony Volpe has come up and he hasn't been good with the bat. I'm going to be honest. He led off with a double today, but the Yankees, being the Yankees, failed to score him despite Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton being the guys to come up. And I know Rizzo and Stanton hit those balls on the screws, and the fan base is going to cry unlucky. But when it's been 5 years, maybe you're not unlucky. Maybe, riddle me this, you just stink in that aspect of the game. And this is something that I've come to realize. The Yankees are a brand. I said this before. The Yankees are a brand. They're more concerned about holding up their brand and holding up their image as this gold standard, that they are not putting enough time to living up to that standard. They aren't living up to it. They haven't lived up to it, and they won't live up to it. This team's going to go at least 50 years without winning a World Series. I'm just going to say that right now. Until the Steinbrenner family is not involved with the Yankees, which is never going to happen. This team is not winning a World Series. So you know what? I take that back. The Yankees are never winning a World Series again. Actually, maybe once every century they'll fall into one, but it's simply not going to happen. The Yankees are no longer a Major League Baseball team whose main priority is to win Major League Baseball games and win a Major League Baseball championship. Their main priority is to be a business and to maximize profits, and they are doing a very good job at doing that. They are driving up fan interest just enough by putting together a roster of, granted, it's made out of paper mache with how often these guys get injured, but they're around just enough to have a couple of stretches where they go like 15-5 or like 20-8. They have a couple of months where they just run the league and they destroy everybody they go against. And it's just enough to keep the fan interest there and keep fans buying tickets and buying subscriptions to the Yes Network and watching the games and generating ad revenue and doing all of the things to keep jiggling the key in front of the Yankee fan, myself included. I watch the games. I contribute like a penny to their ad revenue. It's like, oh yeah, Cameron Woolley from New Jersey and New Rochelle is watching this game and he saw our ad. So that's more traffic to us. No, again, that's what putting together a competent enough roster is. It's jiggling the key for all the stupid people, like the fans, me, and keeping interest at just a high enough level so they sell tickets, sell merchandise, sell concessions, and make money. While really behind the scenes, it is a broken organization, a broken front office, a broken organizational philosophy, the sort of half in, half out thing with analytics that they can't seem to figure out, despite paying a room of people a boatload of money to figure out their statistics and their metrics. Which, granted, there are some good things that have come out of that. The small market moves they make work out well. Like Franchi Cordero, that was a good move. I mean, so far, yeah, it's April, but in the 2 weeks that he's been here, he's been a better hitter than Aaron Hicks has been in the last 3 years. But you know what? That doesn't matter because Aaron Hicks will still pencil himself into the lineup anyways every few games because Brian Cashman is too lazy to to either DFA him and eat the money or find a trade partner and attach a prospect to him so we can get the heck out of here. Because that's how the Yankees work. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa giving him a $6 million qualifying offer for the fact that he has gotten like one hit. He has gotten one hit. And if it weren't for Anthony Volpe, he'd be starting every day at shortstop for quite a bit of time. And the team somehow would have lost more games. Because, one of those ground balls to Volpe that would have turned into a double play would have been error by IKF that would have turned into 3 runs because that's how this team works. The Yankees would have lost on opening day if Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was starting at shortstop because there was a play that Volpe made that turned into a double play. That was pretty nice. And I know if IKF was there, it would have rolled under his glove and it would have resulted in at least 3 runs because Garrett Cole was starting. And every time IKF makes an error behind Cole that would have got him out of an inning, it leads to a home run and the Giants would have hit a home run. So again, I know I sound cynical. I sound like a cynic. I sound like an idiot. But here's the thing. More often than not, when I'm negative about this team, I'm right. And that's something that I hate. I don't want to be right about this team. I want this team to prove me wrong. I want to have to tar and feather myself at the Yankee championship parade. I would love to have to do that because that means this team would have proven me wrong and that means they would have won a championship. But at this point, the Yankees haven't proven me wrong. They have yet to prove me wrong at any point in my time as a cynical Yankee hater. That's what I am. Because I came to a realization around a week ago. I really, if they weren't my team, I wouldn't actually no, if they were my team, I would love them because they would have given me endless laughing material. But because they're my team, I really don't like them. I really do not like this team at all. Aside from like Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Cabrera, and Volpe. And a few of the pitchers, like Cole, Nestor. Like, I like those guys, but other than a few guys, like half the roster, I don't like them at all. I really do not like this team because they're the absolute worst deal as a fan. They will rile you up in the regular season. They'll make you buy in. And then when the playoffs start, they end up spitting the bit. Always. Always. Absolutely. Always. And this is the first time ever where I'm looking at a team that is above 500 and doing for all intents and purposes, doing a pretty good job. They're winning games. Their offense by OPS ranks top 5 in the bigs. But when I really look at it, I can see past it. I have learned to see past this team because I know exactly what they are doing. Whenever they get a leadoff double, when Anthony Volpe get that leadoff double in the first inning today, I'm like, yeah, he's not scoring. Whenever they get a runner in the scoring position with less than 2 outs, I know for a fact that runner is not scoring. That runner is not coming home because this team is incapable of getting runners home. Absolutely incapable. And yeah, last night was an exception. But again, that's what an exception is. It's an exception to what this team really is. And that is a frail, feeble bunch of losers. That's what this team is. They're losers. Can you think of anything that the Yankees have been known for the last few years other than losing? You can't. Because ultimately, that's what they are. Losers. And I hate saying that about professional athletes. Like these guys like Judge and Stanton and Rizzo who deserve rings. They deserve rings. It's almost like I wish Judge signed with the Padres so he would have had a chance at actually winning a World Series. But no, he decided to stay with the Yankees because he's too classy and respects the brand too much and respects the legacy that died over 10 years ago. He respects it too much to leave. And Stanton, maybe if he was traded to the Dodgers, Rizzo, he should have walked. Again, why would any player want to come here? For baseball purposes, for financial purposes, yeah, New York is the best place to be. But for baseball purposes, why would you want to come here? You are guaranteed to become a jester on national television in the playoffs at some point because the Yankees are property of the Astros or whatever team in the AL East ends up playing them in the playoffs. And for the training staff, you're dealing with the worst training staff in baseball who misdiagnoses injuries and keeps trying to play things out until it becomes too severe that you need surgery, and that part of your body never works the same. Like Eric Cressey is hailed as this amazing connoisseur of load management and keeping guys healthy, when really, let's call it like it is. He's terrible at his job. Eric Cressey should not have a job in Major League Baseball with how often these guys get injured. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check Twitter real quick because I need to be updated on this. Okay, the Yankee fan the Yankee fans are absolutely still coping. They're still coping. No, the Yankee fans were still foolish enough to think that this team is somehow different than the last 5 years of choking and the last 5 years of just an absolutely feeble team. That's what it is. I look at Frank Fleming, like Frank the Tank on Barstool. The Yankees are what Frank Fleming thinks the Mets are. Because the Mets, in reality, are a world-class organization. That is a team that is going to win a World Series in the next few years. And the Yankees are really the team that are stuck in their ways, a team that is never going to change, a team where, in his own words, a nightmare that is never going to end. That is what the Yankees are. That is what Frank Fleming thinks the Mets are, but that's what the Yankees really are. All right, enough about those losers, and let me talk about some winners. Playoff hockey, Mets starting soon. There's a very high chance, barring the Islanders losing at home to the Montreal Canadiens tonight, there's a very solid chance that all three teams in the New York tri-state area make the playoffs. The New Jersey Devils and New York Rangers most likely are playing each other in the first round. That series will start at the Prudential Center because as of last night, the Devils beat the Sabres, and that secured home ice in the first round. Whether that be against the Rangers or, God willing, if the Devils beat the Capitals and the Hurricanes somehow lose to the Panthers, the Devils will end up winning the division and playing likely the Florida Panthers or the New York Islanders, which are both horrible matchups for the Devils. But again, in the playoffs, there's no real good matchup for anybody. The only matchup I would have been confident with the Devils in is Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh just tripped over themselves by getting blown out by the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2. I think that was last night. So the Penguins are probably going to miss the playoffs because actually, no, the Islanders don't even need to win. They just need to get a point. Even if that game goes to overtime and they lose, if they just get a point, they clinch a playoff spot. So good for them, I guess. The New Jersey Devils, a couple of milestones last night. They tied their franchise record for wins in a single season with 51. And Jack Hughes, some of you have heard this before, Jack Hughes breaking some kind of record. Jack Hughes broke Patrick Eliash's single season points record of 96 by getting his 97th point last night by scoring an empty net goal. So good vibes all around for the Devils. Luke Hughes made his debut and looked okay. He didn't look great, but he looked okay. I wouldn't have him play any playoff games, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do, really? Wait, I just need some water because I am feeling just a smidge under the weather. And I don't want this sore throat to end up making a comeback. So anyways, playoff puck starting soon. Absolutely. Devils Rangers, probably that's going to be a great series. As a fan who's going to have a heart attack during all of these games, I am not looking forward to it, especially the downside of the Devils losing to the Rangers and me being a Devils fan and having to walk around a campus full of Rangers fans who honestly haven't watched hockey at any point all year and then see the Rangers in the playoffs and they're like, ooh, shiny new thing. And I see a bunch of people walk around in Ranger hoodies and Ranger jerseys. Meanwhile, they couldn't tell me with a straight face who Brian Leach was. So that's going to be happening. I don't really have much else. I mean, there is some drama in the Giants that Saquon Barkley will not play under the franchise tag. He will not sign the franchise tag. So there's some drama there. You know, so the Giants did offer Saquon Barkley multiple long-term deals, but Saquon Barkley bet, I guess he bet on himself. He rejected all those deals, but he ultimately ended up not getting what he wanted, and now he's in a spot where he has absolutely no leverage. Like Saquon Barkley and his agent might think they have leverage, but bottom line is they don't. The Giants could draft a running back in the 3rd round or the 4th or 5th round. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, for crying out loud, was a 7th round pick. And he could still do a perfectly fine job and be adequate as long as they're behind a good offensive line and the plays are designed well for him, which Brian Dable I absolutely trust to design plays that are the most optimal for his roster. He did that with Barkley last year, and I have faith in him to do that with whoever ends up suiting up at running back for the Giants this year. Not much to talk about with the NFL draft. I mean, the Giants are picking 25th. So I don't really have to pay attention to all those top prospects. I get to sit around and watch other teams make bad picks, and I get to laugh at them for once. And I just get to kick back, relax, and watch the cast, unless the Devils are playing a playoff game, which in that case, I probably won't be tuning into the NFL draft, just being completely honest. I mean, if the game that the Devils are playing in is basically like over by the time the NFL draft is still happening, then I'll tune into the draft. But anyways, I don't really have much. I mean, I'm not really a big basketball guy, and even then, the Knicks are probably going to get bounced in the 1st round because, you know, the Knicks being the Knicks, they didn't trade for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is going to run through them. Donovan Mitchell is going to have one of the greatest playoff series any NBA player has ever had because it's the Knicks. And nothing good can ever happen to the Knicks. So, anyways, short episode today. Don't really have much. Mostly just the rambling about the Yankees was mostly just me venting to a wall. I'm going to cut this short. Everyone, again, enjoy the warm weather. Springtime finally upon us. Best of luck with the rest of your classes. Again, we're coming into crunch time. You know, some people maybe need to pull a few grades up. And, you know, finals, papers, that's going to be happening. So best of luck to everyone in that department. Tonight, I will likely be casting Iona University's Rocket League team because they do have a playoff game in one of their conferences tonight against one of the better schools in the country. So definitely excited for that. Be sure to tune into that at Iona Esports on Twitch. And again, from the studios of WIUR at the La Penta Student Union at Iona University, this has been Woolley Mammoth Wednesdays. I have been your host, Cameron Woolley, signing off.